Good afternoon, US. Good evening, UK. And welcome to Paranormal Path Peeps with Scott Mathewson of Paranormal in History. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing fine, though. Thanks for having me on. It's
Yeah.
always a pleasure to talk to your good self.
Oh, it's just great to speak to you again. I haven't spoken to you for a while.
It's been quite a bit, but that's the thing, you don't realise just how quick time passes.
It's mad, isn't it? It really is.
You know,
And I'm also hoping to meet up with you in Scotland as well.
that's
So,
fine. The,
yeah,
the, the gates are always open.
that's cool. So I'm meeting Eileen as well. Eileen's watching, so hi, Eileen. I hope you're well. So yeah, there's a few people that I'm going to meet up in Scotland. So I'm not sure how much of a holiday I'll get. Because I'll be doing ghost hunting most nights.
So,
Hi,
so,
Charlie Bucks.
hi, Charlie boy, Eileen. So when are you heading up?
I'm going up. I'm going to the Paranormal Research Centre that's being held in Rugby, and I think it's like week 2 or 3 of September.
Mind
So
bring,
yeah, so
mind,
good.
mind bring your wellies.
Oh no, I'm fine. I went the same time, 3 years ago. So I'm kind of quite looking forward to it. It's just a midge spray, isn't it? What's the issue?
As well, we might be getting a heat wave up here in a couple of days' time, so I'm getting the Mancini and the Red Wellies back out. You know,
That's a bit grim, isn't it?
I know Red Wellies. I should have went with green.
Oh no, that is too grim. So here you go. I've got a date already with Eileen and Mark. So I'll probably see you on the way back, basically. So I sort of head up that way and then come back down your side. So yeah, even though you're not far from the Glasgow, you're near Glasgow, aren't you? In there, Edinburgh. So yeah,
We're about 20 mile west of Glasgow, so it's about 15 minutes in the motorway. It's not that far.
Yeah, there's only about 25 miles between the two cities, aren't there?
Between Glasgow and Edinburgh, it's 45.
Oh, is it? Oh, I got that wrong then. But
The
yeah,
main,
the man in Mancini's.
I'm getting on Eileen with the Mancini because I stopped wearing it after I get banned for Greg's for wearing it, so I had to stop wearing it.
Ugh. They are grim, aren't they? Well, congratulations. You've got quite a few likes now, haven't you? I saw that you put that on your page.
The team's doing well. Also, we've got the American side as well, but no, the team seems to be doing really well, which we're really, really happy about. It lets us know that we'll never look at a close. That's the Eileen sounds. She sounds lovely. Where's she from?
Edinburgh side.
We spend a lot of time in Edinburgh Island, so watch it. Mancini, Red Wellies.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
But no,
we've got another guy in the Mancini there. Here's Eric.
There's Eric, and Eric he comes into our shows quite a wee bit.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a Brody girl.
Alright.
I probably pronounced that wrong. Sorry, Eileen.
Right.
Hi, Laura. How you doing?
Good evening, Laura, dear.
Can you get Boss Man to control himself?
Laura's one of ours. Bless her.
We've got Nigel from the North Pole as well.
Hi, Nigel, buddy.
Hey, and North Pole. Thank you.
The team's doing quite well, which we're pleased about. And, it's always good to see our numbers going up. No, because, you want to be famous or anything, like that. But it lets us know that we're doing stuff that people are enjoying, that people like.
That's right, yeah.
And that's a great thing.
I sort of sometimes I struggle to, I had an issue about February time. It took me quite a few months to get right. And the guests I got were people I knew, so I played really safe. And the only reason I did the shows were for the people who watch every week. And in particular, this guy. And I want to thank this guy so much. You don't realise it, but I've really, times when I struggled, but I made sure that I did try and get a guest on because I thought Andy might be around. So thanks,
Hi,
actually, but Andy's wonderful. Thank you for watching. But yeah, you do have times where you really struggle, don't you? Oh wow! Look, Laura, you've got to remember you're professional and kindly act professional.
That's good. No, Laura gives you any trouble. We were out the other day. I know, right, I'll try and act professional, dear. Promise. She only stays 5 minutes away from me, so I better she come down and give me a slap.
Yeah, I should be knocking on the door. But yeah, you have done so much. You do so many shows a week as well, don't you?
I enjoy doing the shows because you get to meet a whole load of different people.
Oh, definitely.
And our shows are quite laid back. When we first started, we'd never done shows before, so we had a list of like 20 questions kind of thing. But after about 2 or 3 shows, we thought, that's not working. It's no us. It's not who we are.
Oh,
so
bless you.
We decided just to go, laid back, So a lot of the people that come on will say to me, what's the topic? What's the format? I said, well, we don't have a format. We don't have a topic. We just say hello and then see what happens, basically. And that's just my opinion, but I think that's the best way to do it. But I enjoy doing the shows. And some of them can be, a right good laugh. Some of them didn't even talk paranormal,
No, you've caught me doing that before, though, haven't you?
Aye. You can talk any subject under the sun except paranormal. You might stick, a week in a 5-minute paranormal bit in, but then that's about it, Right, Karen. But I think that's the best. I mean, I watched that you need to go with it. You do, Eileen. I watched a few shows and you just want to go to your own funeral watching some of them. No disrespect to them, but
I know, that's it.
Tonight I'm doing tarot readings and this card means you're going to die and this card means you're going to win a lot of money. You think, sod off. I think people just want something different. If they're taking the time out their day or night to sit and watch you, then they don't want to sit and watch somebody just, robotic. They want to watch somebody that's got a personality or a bit of life in them at least.
Yeah, that's it. And if a certain person, like, there's this guy who comes on watching from YouTube and is really crude and he wants me to post something about what happens on a bench. And I just take the rip out of him because I know it's him and he wants, like, the first time I actually humoured him and actually went with his joke. And then he did like 3 more, but he keeps turning up as well. So he's kind of entertaining. But yeah.
The most entertaining one we had, I don't know if I can use it, if it was entertaining, but it was a midnight one we done. It was a girl from Australia. And we used to put the link in the chat, way back. And somebody took the link and, wanted to come on. But they used somebody else's name, a friend of ours' name. So we let them in. It turned out it was some young boy standing in his hallway and he just stripped off, totally butt naked. And we because that kind of position you're in, you're sitting, you're watching, you're thinking, is this really happening? And so we ended the live. Luckily the girl was on, she thought it was hilarious. She thought it was really, really funny. So we ended the live, but then we just restarted it again and we deleted that live, so otherwise we would get a strike. But it was just one of these things that happened. Why? But luckily the girl, she saw the funny side that she was in stitches.
It's just mad, isn't it? It's like last week I didn't have a guest, so I put the link out as well, so anybody watching the show could actually join it. So I just put it on, I pinned it, I think, and so I've got it over. I don't know if the link. Yeah, I think the link went out to YouTube, Paranormal Path, and things, so anyone could join. And I got this amazing guy join from the US.
Mm-hmm.
And like what he spoke about was really good and we had a great conversation. And yeah, you just don't know, do you? Like who's going to come on? And yeah, I guess I'm used to doing panto as well. So
Right into your pantos at Christmas, aren't you?
yeah, I'm in a panto again. So yeah.
Sarah finally turned up. She
Bless her.
was co-founder of PIH. But no, you don't know who you're going to get. So after that, the Naked Guy episode, we decided, right, we're just going to, if anybody wants to come on, I'll send a link in Messenger. And we're having people in the chat since then, can you put the link in, can you put the link in? But it's a name you don't recognise. If I recognise the name, then I'll PM them with a link,
Yeah.
But you just don't know what you're going to go on, do you?
You don't want that, do you? You have got the boot and the delete though, haven't you? So you've always got that.
I just kick them.
Yeah, that's it. So if it does get a bit much, but yeah, for that was ridiculous. So to get something like that on, like why,
Oh, I don't know, it was a Friday night party. I don't know what the guy was doing, but
very random.
But he get booted. Soon as we don't kick people out. We've had the odd occasion where somebody will come in the comments and start getting stroppy and all the rest of it, and we don't tolerate that at all. If you're stroppy in your chat, then you're gone, because there's no room for that. There's no need for it. If you want to come on and watch your show, everybody's welcome. But if you start getting stroppy or start to be a bit of a cabbage, then you're gone, and that's it.
Yeah. So we spoke about some projects that you are involved in then, and they're quite unique. So there's the Sir William Wallace one, which sounds fantastic.
Sir William Wallace, you got it right, though.
See, before the show, I didn't mention Sir, so I managed to get it right this time. So I'm pleased about that.
I know, sir. No, a lot of people just, no disrespect to them, but a lot of people just say William Wallace. Cabbage. Laura's got a phobia about cabbages. Don't know why, but I keep threatening to tie her to a tree and throw cabbages at her.
Am I going to meet Laura?
When you come over, when you come up, you'll get to meet Laura. You'll get to meet everybody. We'll all be here.
Because I've got to get some popping candy for when I meet Mark. Because Mark Warbank loves popping candy, doesn't he, Eileen? And I'll have to get some cabbages as well then.
I get some cabbages for Laura, but see, a lot of people just say William Wallace, which is fair enough, but his actual title is Sir William Wallace. He was knighted, and he was I know he did Guardian of Scotland as well. But what we're doing with that is we're partnered up with the Society of William Wallace. And everybody's seen the film Braveheart. It's a fantastic movie. I've seen it many times. But it just tells the kind of basic story of Wallace. 2 seconds, something just popped up on my screen. I don't know what that was. Something popped up on my screen there. It just tells the basic story of Wallace, and some of it is historically inaccurate, but there was a lot more to the man, the location-wise and stuff like that. So what we've decided to do is we partnered up with the Society of William Wallace, and we're doing the Wallace Trail, and we're calling it Forgotten Braveheart. So it's the same kind of idea as we did a couple of years ago with the Pendle Witches. We've done Forgotten Pendle, the sort of background to it. So this is going to tell the story of who William Wallace really was. Not just the guy that everybody thinks, that he fell out with the English and went out and killed the whole of the Englishmen, basically. He was a very intelligent, he was a very educated man. He spoke numerous languages and what have you. I love the accent. I don't know if you talk about your accent or mine. This is the thing I found. Now, this is going to sound naive, right? We done a lot in Pendle, And I always imagine Pendle as a borough, just a tiny wee kind of hamlet sort of thing. But we were there about a year and a half ago, something like that. We spent 4 days doing Pendle. I didn't realise it was so big.
Oh, God.
The distance between different locations, you're 25, 30 miles and what have you. But it was amazing. We went to Newchurch, to St Mary's Churchyard, and just the Nutter family plot. Just standing there looking at this grave that you've seen so many times on TV and books and stuff like that, to be actually standing there was quite surreal.
Yeah, I've only been once. My mate is actually a salesperson, so she's in the area, and I took the Monday off and I went up there with her. So yeah, we went round the churchyard, and it is, and the view from there as well. We also went to the witch's shop as well, which is lovely. I love that.
We've always been fascinated. Well, we did a whole series on the witch trials. We called it Witch Week. We've done about 5 or 6 lives in a row featuring the different witch trials around the UK, and our American team, they done Salem, obviously. But Pendle seems to be, no disrespect to the other victims of the trials, but Pendle seems to be the one that's captured, that still captured people's interest. I mean, people come from all over the world to visit Pendle, news and all the rest of it, even though, it happened back in 1612. It just seems to, I don't know what it is, it's so captivating about the Pendle witch trials.
But people just don't know the story either. Like, you hear about it, you think the witches and whatever, but that's not what the story's about. It's totally different from that. I was at Derby Jail last year, and Simon Entwistle was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to his version of the Pendle witch trials, and it's a totally different story from what you can even imagine, isn't it?
It is. Simon, we've had Simon on quite a few. He's coming back next month, actually. We've had Simon quite a bit. But no, the Pendle witch trials, the story that was told, obviously the trial itself was recorded by Thomas Potts, word for word. He was there, and that's the only book that we know of in existence, and the only record there. But to me, the whole Pendle witch trials took place for just 2 or 3 reasons. One was a young girl's fear of getting into trouble, and 2 was a man's ego to gain favour in the eyes of the king. We're talking Roger Knowles, obviously the judge, and the other one was, because let's not forget, Alice Nutter was never originally accused of witchcraft. She wasn't in court. She was in court over a land dispute, because Alice came from quite a well-to-do family. She was in court over a land dispute against Roger Knowles, who presided over the trials, and she won. Now, this was unheard of. A woman back in 1612, the women weren't allowed voices. They were seen and not heard. So even just to have a woman in court, to have her case heard was a major thing. And then, of course, Roger Knowles to lose the case against her. He lost to a woman. His pride was a big dent in his pride, and he'd lost land. So he needed to get, some kind of justice. And the only thing he could do was he accused Alice of witchcraft.
Yeah.
And he coaxed little Alice Demdike to give evidence against her. And so Alice was convicted and hung, basically, along with the rest of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Alice Nutter sticks out so much, because she was never involved in the original accusation. She was in court for something totally different, and it was, she won the case, and that sealed her fate.
Yeah. And it's just all about that bloke, wasn't it? Making those accusations.
Aye, it was. because back then, obviously, witchcraft, it was, King James. It was him who started the whole thing off when his bride-to-be got caught in that storm when she was coming over for Norway. He blamed it on witchcraft. So this is what gave him a massive fear of witchcraft, and he wrote the book in demonology as well. And so the witch trials turned into a profession more than anything. Take Matthew Hopkins, for instance, the witch finder general. People saw this as a good way to make money, to get rid of a love rival or a land rival or just somebody you didn't like. All you had to do was point the finger at him and say, he's a witch or she's a witch. And that was it. And you got these magistrates like Roger Knowles, who was the frame of mind, the more witches he convicted, the higher he would climb in the eyes of the king, which was a big, big thing back then.
Yeah.
Along with religion, of course, you had the Good Friday meeting, the Good Friday meeting kind of sealed the fate of the accused, because, obviously back then religion was a major, major thing, and everybody was required to be in church on, Sundays and, other sort of separate religious days, Good Friday being one of them. But the Dendites decided, we're not going to church, we're going to have a gathering at our house. Alice Nutter was there as well. And so, the authorities saw this as blasphemy. And that was a big, big nail in their coffin.
Yeah, the whole thing is shocking, and that's probably why, so many are actually intrigued about the story behind it. And any women now could be, the women of today who are strong and everything, they'd be accused of witchcraft because they have a voice. The reason for witchcraft in those days was virtually everything, wasn't it? If a woman wasn't married or everything, really.
You got, spinsters, anybody that was any kind of herbal medicine, midwives. Yeah. Another thing was the sort of average lifespan, was about 35 years old. So if you live beyond 35, I have been called a witch. If you live beyond 35, then people started to look at you. Where you cursed. Elizabeth Dendyke, one of the Pendle accused, she was 85.
Wow.
When she was arrested, but unfortunately she died before she could stand trial. They think it was
a massive age, wasn't it?
Sorry?
That's a massive age in the 1600s.
85, so she was considered, she's definitely a witch. She should have been dead about 50 years ago, whatever. But she never stood trial. She passed away in the cells. Robbie Crossan, he's felt this end. He's living down south, Robbie.
Yeah. I think we've got this random feedback thing again. It happens quite a lot, and I don't know why. So we sorted it out before we started the show. But I think, do you find that when you're doing StreamYard, you're getting this random?
We've had that. I usually just stick my headphones in. We always find that we've got more than maybe 3 people on the panel. Sometimes then you do tend to get feedback, and I'm not technical minded in any way. My way of fixing a computer is to unplug it and plug it back in again. And if it doesn't work, then I'm stuck. Sarah's your tech person. If the volume doesn't work, then I panic because I don't know what buttons to press or whatever. But we usually, if you StreamYard can be quite bad for that. Usually with 3 people or more, we tend to get feedback. And we found the only way around that is to, if a guest isn't talking, then you mute them, which is a pain in the neck, A man after my own heart, Scott. Thank you, Andy. Unplug it for 2 minutes. It's always 2 minutes, isn't it? I don't know who set the time, but it's unplug for 2 minutes and then plug it back in again. Hey, Laura, she's a good friend of Nick. I haven't got to get his name right. Muley. I hope I'm getting
Yeah.
I hope he's get his name right. But I know what I was saying with the Wallace. So basically, the Wallace Trail is we're going to try and tell the story of the man behind the scenes.
Excellent. Yeah.
You know, we're covering locations that people don't know. There's some locations we've been out with them a couple of times, and they're showing me locations that we knew nothing about. You know, and there's 2 or 3 of them in Glasgow, which is where I'm originally from, that I didn't have a clue about.
Wow.
You know, but
amazing, isn't it?
we're looking now. Of course, we get David Espinosa. He's on board for CRA. He's our kind of advisor. Once it's filmed, he's going to look at it, and so we're looking forward to it. It's just getting the time to do it, and then you know yourself, Jack, when the weather up here can be a joke at times. You know.
I've only had good weather when I've been there once, and I went there for a week. I got married in Dumfries and Galloway, Clarencefeld.
Mm-hmm.
I got married in Cumberland Castle, the same. Are You Haunted? The same castle they got married in.
Mm-hmm.
Phil.
Sunshine.
Yeah, beautiful day. Up the drive, beautiful day, sunny all the time. It's October, it's lovely. Then went to Anstruther, and it's beautiful. But I can go in July, it can be 16, it can be freezing cold and wet. And I'm going again in September, and no doubt it's going to be horrible again. But generally, it's appalling when I go to Scotland.
That's one thing that's kind of held us back. And then, you know, there's been stuff happening, illnesses and stuff like that. We're set about 3 or 4 different recording dates, and you know, you wake up in the mornings, right, we're off to Stirling, you look at the window and it's pouring with rain, you know. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
So these locations are outside. You know, you get Cambus Kenneth, you get Bell of the Brain, Glasgow, Rutherglen as well. So we're filming outside with these locations, and you can't do it. We don't expect anybody to do anything. We did. But we're quite lucky the last 2 times with the Wall Society. We covered the unveiling of the wall.
I saw that. That was fantastic.
Yeah. No such thing as bad when it's inappropriate clothing. That's another way to look at it, you know. I've done that about 2 months ago. We got asked to do that, and it was a brilliant day. We were worried about the weather, you know, because you can't rearrange something like that because it was done in association with Clan Hunter. So we were actually at Sundrum. We were away camping that weekend.
Oh yeah.
And we came up for Sundrum to do it, and then went back later on. But what a fantastic day that was! Absolutely brilliant, and it's a major part of Scottish history because it was left of the tree that Sir William Wallace was chained to after his capture. So that was good, and then we covered the commemoration of the Battle of Loudon Hill as well, and it was scorching that day.
Wow.
We had a wonder that day with the weather, so it does work for you sometimes.
Not for me when I go, I'll tell you. But we'll see. Because I went to Scotland like 2-3 years ago. I did a 2-week tour, 7 locations, 1,500 miles, and I took 2 tents with me. A small one for 1 night and a larger one for 2 nights. Mm-hmm. Spent 2 days on Skye, and it's absolutely shocking. It really was. And I went up to Old Man's Store, and that I couldn't see anything. It was awful. And then where you go up the hill and you look down onto it's like prehistoric dinosaur area. I forget what it's called. And that was all misty and cloudy, so I couldn't see anything. And as soon as I got out of the car, the damn midges got me.
Oh, the curse of the midge. Aye.
They are evil.
That's something you can get, and you always end up. I call it midgie syndrome. You know, when you've been out, you know, and you've been attacked, and you come home and you've had 5 showers and you know everything. But you're still sitting at night, and you're still at this. You know, even though you know you're bathed in bleach, you're like that. You know, you can still feel the midges on you and stuff like that. You know, I call that midgie syndrome. You know, because I think it's a psychological thing. You still feel like they're buzzing. It's when you see the clouds of them, you know, it's as if they're all just buzzing there, just right, you come here, we're waiting on you, you know. And
I don't even see the clouds. They're usually eating me by that stage.
there's not a lot you can do about it.
If you haven't met midges, right? If you haven't been to Scotland, it's basically a cloud of needles attacking you.
They
hurt. You can't even see them; they're that small.
and
it absolutely hurts, doesn't it?
and you get itchy. You're always scratching, and people kind of look at you if you know you're not washed in 2 months, or he's stinking, what he's scratching. But it's the midges. But it's part of being Scottish. You sort of get used to it sometimes.
Really? That's not fun.
Oh, it's
in your head, behind your knees.
behind your knees. Behind your knee. You're not scratching behind your knees or not. I was going to say in my head, but I don't know if you know. The midges attack there, and they just kind of skim off. You know, if there's nothing to grab, you just keep going. You know, but it's part and parcel of being Scottish, isn't it?
Yeah, but me as a visitor to Scotland, you know, can you just tell them to keep away from me, please? It is a welcome committee. I don't actually want to meet.
When you come up, I'll have a word.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't actually meet them that often, which was good. Yeah, I got away with it quite a lot.
They've not been so bad this year. We were at Loudon Kirk, I think 2 weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, and usually that's quite bad for them. But we went on a Friday night, and must have been their night off or something. I don't know, but you know, the reduced staff that night in the Kirkyard.
Oh gosh, I didn't know they'd be there. But when I went around Scotland, they weren't that bad. It's just Skye when it was. Yeah, it's Skye particularly where I really got caught by them. You've also on about doing a boat trip, aren't you?
We're calling it unknown waters. Basically, whereas everybody investigates on land, which is obvious, you know, and so we came up with the idea. Well, who's to say, you know, you get haunted ships and stuff, you know, more than that. They're not as bad as Wassie, Satan, I swear.
Wassies are pointless as well, aren't they? There is no reason for them other than to annoy us.
I had 4 o'clock in the boat, so I had a bad experience years when I was a teenager with what I get stung, I think it was 26 times. We're away. I used to be in the Scouts many years ago, and we're away at a summer camp up at Oban, and we were running through this forest, and the guy was running in front of me. He must have kicked a wasp nest or something, but they all kind of came up, and that was me. I was, you know, everywhere. I wasn't too well after that. So since then, wasps and I just don't go on. You know.
Yeah.
I was home early, get sent home early, get taken home early, I mean, whatever. But no, to say, everybody investigates on the land, which is fine, you know.
Yeah.
It's normal, you know, and you get people investigate ships and whatever. So we thought, well, what if the water itself is haunted or active, whatever you want to call it?
But it's got energy, hasn't it? You've got the power from the water.
Exactly. So we were lucky enough, we're teamed up with Firth of Clyde boat tours. And we're going to go. It might not work. We might get diddly squat, you know. We're going to go in the Firth of Forth because there's a few sites around there. There's wrecks and stuff.
Is that near Inverness? Oh,
no, Firth of.
Oh, that's a bit towards Anstruther, isn't it? Is that the Edinburgh?
Round Greenock Way. Your geography's way off. Buy a sat nav.
My geography is good. I know when I went from Borthwick Castle to Edinburgh, and then we went to Anstruther. We went over a bridge there. I thought that was the Forth.
That's the Forth. You get the Firth of Forth, and you get the Firth of Clyde. Firth of Clyde's Glasgow end, Firth of Clyde's our end, like Greenock, Ayrshire sort of thing.
Yeah.
With that.
I saw Concord out of Firth of Forth.
And the Firth of Forth, that separates Edinburgh from Fife. See that big bridge you go over? When you
I've been on that.
That's you going over the Forth when you go over that big bridge.
Yeah, I saw one of the last Concorde flights when they were like moving them everywhere when they stopped flying. Like, I don't know, we decided to pull over and like people like there. I thought, oh, what's going on? So we stopped, had a nosy, and Concorde came over, so that's beautiful.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Concorde, I remember Concorde. My dad told me about it because obviously I'm old enough to witness. But see, we're teamed up with Firth of Clyde boat tours. We're going to go out in the water. And see, another good thing about the boat is you get lock on, what have you. There's loads of sites around there, your castles and stuff. They're next to the water. And to get to them by car, you need to park, and it's what, a 4 or 5 mile hike to get to these locations. Whereas the boat, it gets you near enough right next to them.
Excellent. Yeah.
So it might not work, we don't know. But we're certainly going to give it a go. That's why we called it Unknown Waters, because we just don't know. And even if we do get nothing, it's still going to be a good experience. We're still going to have a good time doing it.
Yeah, somebody did mention, like, because I did hot air ballooning, I was in a club, and they sort of said, well, what about paranormal up there? But, there's not enough room in the basket or anything. But, you don't know where you pick things up, do you, really?
Well, that's it. You just, we don't know. This is one of the things I find fascinating about the paranormal. I mean, people can say, oh, you need to visit graveyards, castles, whatever. But I'll try to say to people, who's to say a bus stop's no haunted?
Oh, that looks good.
Island, Old Jail, Plague Hospital and Garrison.
Wow. I can't get, I don't think I can get the dog on a boat. I don't think it'll work well.
No.
Especially if I got to get back. No.
It's many years since I've been on a boat. We've been doing the boat a couple of times. We've been doing one day with intentions of going out. But from where we live to get to Inverkip with the boat is, you drive along the coast, and we were driving and we were looking at the waves, and they were like this.
Awesome. Wow.
And we thought, there's really no much chance of going out in a boat today.
Yeah, I get it.
Because there's like the North Atlantic, so we go there. We spent a couple of hours on the boat. We carried out baseline tests and what have you on the boat, just to take, because also there's a lot of electronics on the boat.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we wanted to see how that would interfere with, a K2 or whatever we're taking with. So we thought, well, we'll do that. We just we turned everything on the boat and just let it run. And it didn't really affect anything, surprisingly. That's not to say it'll not affect it when we get out. See, we might not get anything, but we're looking forward to it. Plus, you're getting to see places that you wouldn't usually get to see by car.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you get a different perspective, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you never, like, when I've been out on a boat, on a ship, on a cruise, whatever, only mini cruises, nothing special. To get the view of like Harwich from the sea or Hamburg. I went to Hamburg a few times. Just to get a perspective from the river in Hamburg. But it is different, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Loch Ness, yeah. I went paddling there last time I went. I am going to try and get to Loch Ness Shores campsite again. I absolutely love Loch Ness.
It's beautiful. I've swum in the loch a few times, but I've never met Nessie.
Yeah, I couldn't see him at all. He decided to make himself invisible that day. So, it means I'll go back. And there's a bloke I want to speak to on the banks of Loch Ness. So it's a fascinating story. I don't know if you've actually met him, but there's a bloke who decided to get away from the rat race. He's from England somewhere, and he just left his house, left everything, and decided to live on the banks of Loch Ness. And I think I visited him within a year or 2 years of him first going there. So he used to sell these little clay nesses, and it's like a really interesting bloke. But last year, 2 years ago when I went, the van's still on the bank, and I know where it is because I specifically went to find him, to be fair. But he wasn't there, but his van's there, so it's just a matter of trying to catch him, really. But yeah, he's just decided to devote his life on Nessie and, trying to find out more about Nessie. And it's wonderful to do what you want, isn't it? Because life's too short.
Life is too short. That's why I love going out investigating, and but the whole team does, and the whole history side. You just do what you do, do what you
that's
enjoy.
right.
You say life's too short. Loch Ness is fascinating. People have asked me quite a few times, is Nessie real? Is there a Loch Ness monster?
How can we say? We can't say, can we?
We don't know. I know people have been hunting for it for decades and decades, and there are people out there that say, doesn't exist. What the crap. But then you get the other side of the coin is people are saying, I've seen it, but my personal opinion is, I think there is something in the loch, but what a lot of people tend to forget is Loch Ness is a sea loch and it connects to the sea, whereas the majority of Scottish lochs are inland kind of thing,
and it's so deep as well. This is the thing, isn't it?
It's about,
so much hidden at the bottom of it. It's deep.
And it's with 26 miles long.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot of water.
It's a bloody long drive round it as well.
Oh, it is.
Because I was I was trying to visit, like I was on the beach bit near to the Crowley house. The campsite was 1.7 miles from that. And when I was trying to find the campsite, it was like I saw the graveyard and I didn't realise it was the one he went to. I was fascinated as like driving. It's just past a single track road, isn't it? Not much wider than that. You're just driving thinking, oh, graveyard, where can I park? And it's just a beautiful graveyard and the view is fantastic from it. But then when I went to the shore to see the bloke, who'd actually gone to live up there to just find out if a Loch Ness monster existed, I realised the area was, where the house was. So I actually Googled it and found it right near the campsite. So just turn down the campsite, there is the house, which I want to go to. But they are doing tours around the house now.
I've never ever been to the house. It's one of these. It's on the to-do list. We'll get there someday. But no, Loch Ness it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's one of these places where that you see that guy decide to go off the grid, and best of luck to him. People might think he's not.
Do that, isn't it? Life is too short, and like doing the 9 to 5 every day doesn't help you, does it? It lets you do what you like.
That's a bit. If you want to go off the grid and go and hunt this, people might laugh at you. People might slag you into the grid. But who cares? You're doing what you want. You're doing what you love. And if you're happy, then that's what counts. And sod what other people think.
I think I went pre-1998. So he's been there a long time. And when I first met him, he'd just got up there. And he's still there. It's still up there. I don't quite know where he lives because I think the hut now is like it's got a little caravan on the beach, and I think that's mainly for tourists now. So he must have somewhere else he lives. But yeah, it's just fascinating, isn't it?
As it's so remote. You've got towns, you've got Fort William, Drummond, Rocket, on the way up to Inverness, Arkirk Castle as well, which is beautiful.
That's the other side from where I was staying, which is annoying.
You need to take a wee run round.
I went to Skye, so I had to go right back down the bottom and then up again and round to Skye. But yeah, I won't be going to Skye this time. I think I'll be heading up to Culloden and back.
Culloden's nice. We were up there last year. We took a run up to Inverness, went up Loch Ness, and then went up to Culloden. Skye's nice. This is going to sound. I was quite disappointed. I know you might not remember it, but I drove trucks for 20 years, and way years and years ago, there was the Skye Bridge. We used to, there was a big about the tolls in the Skye Bridge, And so one day I found out a delivery going to Skye. So I was expecting this massive big bridge, the Fourth Road Bridge or something. And I go to it and I'm thinking, is that it? Not that I'm into bridges or anything weird like that, But I thought, is that what all the kick-up was about?
Yeah.
That's, because they went on for months, are we going to charge them for coming over the bridge? Are we no blah, blah, blah. And then I seen it and I thought, seriously, you can drive there that in 2 minutes, I would expect a massive risk. I know that's totally not paranormal or anything, but it's one of these things that's sticking your head in it,
Yeah, I think I've been to Skye about 3 times. I've camped on there twice. And then I went through Skye to get to Harrison Lewis. Absolutely stunning. And we went to Callanash as well.
I said, I'm not coming back up here because your bridge is crap. I didn't really. I've
never caught the ferry because it must be a pain to actually drive to it. Oh, yeah.
I've not been on the ferry, so we know the bridge, and I was quite disappointed.
Yeah, and all your ferries are owned by the same company up there as well, aren't they?
Aye, Caledonian with Brain.
So the prices are a bit high.
The only ferry we've been on recently is the one for Lars to Millport, and that was actually it's like a 5-minute jaunt.
Yeah.
But that was, we were on, it was like £30 odd or something to take the car over.
Yeah, I think some of the islands kind of try and restrict the number of tourists on them, don't they? That's what it seems. And that was the thing about Harrison Lewis. They did a special if you did a 5-day return. But if you did 7 days, it was even worse. So, yeah.
I think they do it more for preservation of the island.
Yeah.
If you've got 200-300 people coming onto the island in one day, they're going to leave a mess.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I think it's more the sort of preservation side that they sort of try and limit the numbers. Wow. So this was a nightmare. 4 cars at a time, had to queue all day. Well, the one out in Millport, I think it takes maybe about 15, 20 cars or something like that. And if there's 2 or 3 lorries in your bucket,
Yeah, but I love the islands. I've visited Mull, but that was just that's the one from Oban, isn't it?
Aye.
Yeah, so it's from Oban up to Mull, so and Harris Lewis and oh God, what's up north? Been to some of them. Orkneys. I've been to the Orkneys for a week.
You're fairly well travelled, aren't you?
Oh gosh, yeah. I've travelled up to a lot of Scotland. Furthest north, apart from the Orkneys, is Aberdeen, obviously, because that's where I've got my ferry from. But yeah.
But you can play. You're not used to the midges yet.
Oh. Well, usually the weather is that shocking. I don't experience the midges.
Well,
it's usually too cold to come out.
Hopefully, when you come up, the weather will be nice for you, and we can get you along to Loudon-Kirk.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got some. I'm going to buy some smidge. Apparently, that's good stuff. That stops them.
We don't use anything. We just grin and bear it.
Oh God, no, I'm not going to tolerate them. I don't like them. I don't have an issue with insects generally, apart from something I once got in my tent which I wasn't impressed with. Last time, DEET. Oh, I have DEET. Yeah, it's a bit out of date from when I went to the Gambia, but I've got DEET. That is nasty. It stinks. Oh God, I hate DEET. That's horrible stuff, isn't it?
It's Mother Nature for you, but innit? That's the joys of Mother Nature. Got all these.
Oh yeah, got it. Yay.
I eat garlic. That's smelly, but it works.
Yeah, I used to have DEET, and I think it was a roll-on thing, and the little mosquitoes got me in between. So I've had trouble with mosquitoes anyway. But yeah, I think that's good though, Eileen. Yeah, I agree with that. Keep everyone away. That's cool. So when I meet up with you, Eileen, if I smell of garlic, it's because you told me to.
Garlic,
There you go.
garlic and DEET.
You won't smell the garlic because of a DEET, will you?
Well, which one's the worst? So where are you heading to in Edinburgh?
I can't go in the centre because I've got the dog, so it's not really going to be. I can't take him around the centre. I might see if I can go and have a meal at Borthwick Castle. So I went there when I got married. That was beautiful. So if it depends on the weather because you'll have to stay in the car. Awesome, Karen. That's the best way, isn't it?
You're not going to get to Greyfriars and what have you?
No, I can't go to the centre. It's awkward with the dog. I was going to fly up when 2020, Easter 2020. I was going to fly up and meet Wes Coleman there. But awesome! Yeah, I went there on my first night of my honeymoon. African London, beautiful place.
And never went back.
Stayed in the Red Room.
I need to try that to keep Craig out. Craig's Laura's husband.
Awesome.
She's so loving. She's so loving as well, Laura. Really, really.
That's
really
nice. That's awesome. So, what other plans have you got then? Anything? Sounds like you've got a lot on anyway, doesn't it?
We have the train station as well.
Oh, look, here's Mr. Popping Candy Man. Hiya.
Hi, Matt, buddy. We're partnered up with the Kilmarnock Railway Heritage Trust.
Right.
The train station, we've done 3 or 4 investigations there. This is why after August we're cutting down our shows. We're cutting them way down because we just don't have the time to do these things. So we're cutting down shows in order to let us do it. So we're partnered up with them, and we're doing a series of documentaries on the history of the railway station. The railway station dates back to 1842. We've done 4 investigations there and picked up various bits and pieces, but we're actually asked to do it because a lot of the staff in the railway station there's a bakery down the stairs as well. They'd all heard noises and doors opening and stuff like that. So they asked us to get in and investigate it. So we went into partnership with them. So we've got that coming as well. And then that's we've got to be back at. We're also Loudon-Kirk. We're struck at lucky with Loudon-Kirk. That we've teamed up with the guy who actually owns the cottages, lives in the cottages. I don't know if you followed our Loudon journey.
Yeah.
Well, you've heard of James Dempster.
Mm-hmm.
They lived in a mansion which is a quarter of a mile away for the Kirk. The mansion's gone now, but the cottages are still there. They lived in and the servants lived in. So we've managed to partner up with the guy that lives in there, and we're going to be doing a series following the Dempster family back, because they were originally from Dumfries. James and his wife Christina, they came from Dumfries, and then they moved up here in 1800. So I'm actually going to see him this week. So we're doing a kind of history video with the gentleman in it. He's going to be telling us all about the history of the cottage. And well, it's not a cottage; it's actually a farm. The farm's gone, but he's trying to restore it back to where it was in the 1800s. And we're really it sounds big headed. It's not maybe big headed, but we've thanks, Eileen. No, we've made a lot of progress at Loudon Kirk. We've managed to identify 4 individuals that are there.
It's fantastic.
And luckily, we like to get everything validated. You know yourself, Jack.
Gosh, yeah, that's right.
So what we tend to do is if we pick up any EVPs, we'll send them to different people, and we don't tell them anything. We just send them and say, right, tell me what you hear.
That's better.
And then they'll come back with whatever. We've done it at Christmas. We know there's kids' spirits there, so what we did was Craig and I went just before Christmas and we took a wee wooden train and a wee angel doll and we left them and said, this is for the kids here. It's Christmas time. It's quite special to us. And we said, it's Christmas time. We thought we'd bring you a little gift and we left them. And then we went back in January and we'd done an investigation and Laura had the necrophonic on and Laura was recording on her phone. And I says, can you tell me what gifts are left for the kids, for the children? And we got back the words train, doll and toy.
Wow. Yeah. It's fantastic if you get something like that, isn't it?
Oh,
people call apps, they call this, they call whatever. But if you can get something which is spot on, I've been trying a new app recently. There's one which has just hit, and it's quite a few people have it. And I'm Spirit Talker.
We use that.
And I'm finding, it's really weird because that's at the Paranormal Research Centre 2 weeks ago. And Amanda, who I host with, we were hosting a teen night. And she said a word like boy, and then straight away it said boy. And she didn't even know she'd said that word either.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so, and we were getting names, and the same name was coming through. And it was a name we actually recognised as well, from the centre. So it, like everything, you just question everything to the nth degree. But sometimes, it's there, isn't it?
As I've said to people before, I'm not, as I said, I'm not a big tech person, so a lot of the apps, I don't understand them, And I know a lot of them are already loaded with word banks, or whatever you call them, So you do get random words coming out,
they come out one every whatever, and you just know it's rubbish. Yeah. Sometimes
something. We did one of the investigations we did at Train Station. It was actually GSI that recommended the Spirit Talker to us, and Sarah's put a comment up about the news station, and we had 3 cameras on. We were investigating, we were doing the stairs, and down the basement, it's quite a narrow corridor, so when you're down there and the doors are kind of shut, it feels confined, so Sarah says, she felt trapped. And we had the Spirit Talker on, and Sarah said, if that comes back, she asked who was trapped. And Sarah says, if that can get Sarah, then I'm off. And just straight away, it came out the word Sarah.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
Another time we did an investigation there, I think with 3 cameras running, and we were standing talking about the cameras. We were going to move them about or something, and it came through the Spirit Talker. What Sarah Laura will tell you about, leave the camera alone, or keep the camera on.
I've had that. I was recording the other day, and it says leave the camera on. I had that while, because I was just about to turn, I just got it to finish. It said leave the camera on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the timing of like Brian Holloway's apps as well. Like I went to Scotland with Lois Haddo, and we were with another team, and we were at the castle where there's 2 castles.
Dalquahan.
Say what?
Dalquahan.
I don't know. I was somewhere. Yeah, probably. There's one which is ruins where my dog managed to get an attachment, a tick. he growled that spirit there, and he's facing away. He's facing a direction towards the door of the ruined one on the way to the other one. And he started growling, and then the REM pod went off there. But he managed to pick up a tick, which was a bit gross. But hey ho, because we were just sitting in the grass. But that was cool.
You're talking.
We've got Scottish people come through. We've got Scottish voices come through on the Team Spirit Paranormal one. And that was amazing.
This is something that's happened. It happened when we did Caldwell about 2 years ago. It was the same guy that built Caldwell, designed Caldwell, that built designed Dalcahan, place where you were. I know where you're calling it. So you get it used to be a big stately home, and then you get the castle at the back here, maybe quarter mile away. It's nearby. Because you're on both of them. It's when again going back. There are certain words loaded into these apps, which is fine, but it's when you get accents through it.
Yeah. It's not words in there. It's like everything's gone in backwards, and it's not words as such. It's kind of phonetics, and it jumps across banks as well. So you've got like sound coming from all different banks, and if it produces a word or a sentence, it's like, well, how does that do that? And they're clear as well, and it's actually Scottish words coming out, not just the accent, it's Scottish pronunciation.
I'd love somebody to explain that to you, because we are quite big on debunking.
That's where it was, yeah.
My life with the
That's the one, yeah.
The Dalcahan. We went there one night. There was about 5 or 6s. We get French a fair bit, makes sense where we are. We did Dalcahan Castle, there was 5 or 6s, and we were in the old castle, but no the house, the castle.
Yeah.
We were getting a load of responses on the K2. Now, you know yourself, there's nothing out there electrical.
There is nothing out there now.
It was going to red, on command, but everybody kept seeing what they described as a white mist going by what used to be the windows.
Wow.
But I never get to see it. See, that's just I never get to see anything. Everybody else gets to see stuff, but I don't.
I was like that. I was so like that. That's why I did start spiritual development 8 years ago now. Because I was on trial with Dusk Till Dawn, a large UK events company at the time. They sort of finished this last year. And I was at Drakelow Tunnels, and we're out at the back. And they're going, oh, there's a mist there. Huh? Yeah, look, oh, there's a mist. I thought, well, they can't all be making it up. So it's obviously something that they can pick up and I can't. So I kind of started development for a laugh, really. And yeah, I get images and everything now, and I can see things more, and it's great.
They were all seeing this, and I know, you do get mist, you get fog, etc., which is fair enough, but this seemed to, the way they described it, it was, they were seeing it at different windows going by,
Wow.
And we couldn't explain it, and we're not saying this, we never ever state anything as paranormal. Because
I don't either. I never say that.
I know there is people, I can't explain the mist thing. It was suckling, it gives me goosebumps thinking I've never experienced anything like it since. Wow. It seemed to be given in the castle, the tower.
Yeah.
It was an old tower that we were standing in, but see, we try and debunk as much as we can. And
you work like me to the nth degree. Yeah, definitely.
Then obviously as well, we can't explain it. I know there's teams out there that, and it's what they do. They state this is paranormal. I just think that if you state something paranormal, you're leaving yourself wide open.
Well, there's no evidence that it's paranormal as well, is there? Like, just because you can't prove or know what exactly it is, doesn't mean it's paranormal. It's just something that you can't explain, isn't it?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
That's all it is, and I don't know.
It's one of the damnedest things we've seen is, there's nights we go out and make, yourself, you get nothing. You get a flicker of a cat ball or something, and That's it. You know, even
So
if you
I agree. Yeah, I
I,
don't say it's paranormal.
you can't say it's paranormal because you just don't know.
No.
So you can't state something that is something you don't know.
Yeah,
And
Eileen loves the balls. I like cat balls as well, actually. I've got a rope light as well with 10 tubes, and they act the same manner as well. But there's a central battery pack which has been fixed for me because it went a bit skew-if. But yeah,
so we like to try. We're a kind of basic team.
yeah,
We're not big on tech because I'm of the thinking, it doesn't. I think you get better chance of getting a communication with spirit. Don't tech's good for validating, backing stuff up, but if you try and stick to basics, then you have there's more chance of spirit understanding,
yeah,
going forward. You get teams that are out there and it's their thing and they've got all these different gadgets and it's all lit up. If you maybe get a spirit for the 1700s, they see all these lights, and they're thinking,
I like it. Yeah,
they're off, they're witchcraft or what, they're out of there. Whereas
yeah,
if
but
you,
they can always see us as being bad anyway because to them we're practicing the occult. It's wrong what we're doing. It's against their religion and everything, isn't it? So to earn their trust, if you get things out which are flashing and beeping, we don't know of that what they can see. We obviously don't know. Like you'll say, oh, can you go to that flashing light? Well, what can they actually see? We don't know.
whereas
It's
we,
weird. Oh, definitely. I was 1868 in Nottingham at a location I'm going back to on the 4th of August where the judge hates me. Bring it on. I have protectors.
things like, we use things like cat balls, ping pong balls.
Yeah.
You put a wee mark and you put a wee cross on top of the ping pong ball so you
Yeah.
can tell if it moves, or a compass,
Yeah.
a bit of string with some material tied to it. We've tried that. It's no work yet, but we'll keep at it. We just put some material hanging down for it. Obviously you need to do the material thing inside.
Oh gosh, yeah. Check for any breezes, drafts, etc.
And
Yeah. But
you
you just sound like you're the same as me. You just question everything beforehand. Is there a breeze? What's causing it? Is the door open somewhere? Is it the window? Why is there a draft? Why is there a temperature change? Yeah, all the time it's questions, isn't it?
you have to question that. I mean, there's numerous times where we've not been able to explain whether it's been a noise or a draft or a cold spot or whatever. And I mean, we were out a couple of weeks ago with Lois during the day.
Yeah.
We had to abandon it because it was like 31 degrees and it was just too warm. But both Lois and I got things through the necrophonic that were personal to us. Some groups just grab at anything for effect. Stars.
Can I apologise to everyone because on the Paranormal Path page, Facebook wants you to send stars. I don't want stars. I don't know how to take it off. And that's just the thing. And like this stars thing, Facebook gets such a high percentage of that money, and the creator gets hardly anything. They'll get a few pence out of the 86p you spend. And like why? You're just financing Facebook, aren't you? Really?
We don't. We never have, and we never will. We've never.
I've been against it. I really have.
I've seen some groups, put posts up. Can you send us blatantly just say, can you send us money so we can buy equipment?
I saw that the other day. I was horrified.
If you can't afford to do it, then don't do it.
Yeah,
and you don't need to spend hundreds of pounds on equipment. £2 buys you a packet of ping pong balls. It does the same job as a REM pod.
A pendulum. So everyone's got a necklace, haven't they, somewhere? And just stick a rock on it.
But that's
wire and rock.
As I only say, stars as well, and they're doing it for followers, and I know that bollocks. it's, everybody's kind of asking for cash or what have you. If you can't afford to do it, then don't do it.
That's
But
right.
it's the same. I look at it as we see if I had a hobby, like I was into model trains, a big train set in my house, and I wanted a new train. I wouldn't go and ask people, going to buy me another train.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
It's
basically
mad,
the
isn't
same thing. You wouldn't go and say, going to give me £20 so I can buy another choo-choo. You just don't do it.
No, especially with the cost of living crisis at the moment. It could, obviously the prices are horrendous, aren't they? And like the food bills have gone up so much, and then the team wants one so they can go to castles, so they can produce content. It's like,
That's why maybe it's because we're Scottish, but we don't pay for locations. We've been quite fortunate and been finding a lot of locations that don't cost you nothing. And we're struck gold with Loudon, you can do a lot with, exactly how you can do a lot of these with just your phone.
And I know a lot of purists kind of go, oh no, you shouldn't use your phone, but actually it's got a voice recorder on. You can do video, you can take photos, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
There is an issue with my phone now because if I do night mode, it leaves the lens open for about 5 seconds. So the picture isn't a true picture anymore. So if you do get some shadow in it, then you can't really use it as evidence. So I've got a Galaxy 23 Ultra. So no, you can't. You've got to be careful with that one. And also, apparently, on the moon pictures on the S23 Ultra, it uses AI. So you take a photo of the moon, zoom in on it, you get it, then it finishes the image with AI. So it knows what it is.
I've no idea what that is, but I'll just nod.
Yeah.
I'm a person. Phones and that, as long as I can text and make a phone call, I'm a happy man. I'll take pictures. I like taking my pictures for my TikToks. But apart from that, all this AI and stuff like that,
weird. Yeah, the AI really, like people are now, you can sort of go on this app and just say, oh, can you please produce a photo of a castle with a ghost in front of it, and it will do that, and it's absolutely shocking. And then people might show it as evidence.
You'll get people who'll post it and say, that's the other thing that annoys me. And in no disrespect, everybody's getting their own way of doing things. When people put photos up, there's one group way down south that's quite famous for it. They'll put photos up and say apparition captured, and they'll put circles on the photo and arrows and everything. And by the time they're finished circling it, you can't see the bloody photo. Just, I think, if you get a photo and you think you've got something, put it up and let other people just say, look, we took this photo, what do you think? We used a phone up, we came up with about 30 words pertaining to the church and investigation. Here you go.
Oh, don't even start me on that. Oh no.
That's not what I was talking about, but I know the group I was talking about. But the day, in the big white circle, this is a ghost. This is an apparition. Say, no, it's a tree. Just let people judge for themselves.
Oh my gosh, this is a bad one. Someone pretend to be Martin Lewis using AI and tried conning people, advertising, posing as him. That's shocking. And AI will be shocking, won't it? Even the guy who's worked on it is concerned about what's happening now, let alone in the future. Artificial intelligence. So basically, you don't know if it will take over, do you? Really?
It's the thing is, a lot. There's the unfortunate paranormal field. There's many people just faking stuff, using all these gadgets and tech stuff and what have you, just to get noticed. And it's putting a bad light on normal people. If that makes sense.
I got told off, right? 2 people had a go at me because I went to Matlock Pavilion about May, June, my booking, and it absolutely kicked off, okay? So I wrote an account of it. So this guy in the US says, "Have you got footage?" No. Well, you can't be a proper investigator then if you haven't got footage. And he's you got no credibility. Well, if I had footage, okay, you've got to believe me. You've got to believe I'm not acting. You've got to believe the backstory. You know what I mean? So even if you get a photo, what's the backstory? Why do you think it's paranormal? Where are you? What is it? What's the environment around it? Where's the EXIF data? Who else is in the room? You know, and a photo, you just can't look at it, can you, and go, "Oh yeah."
But that's the thing that a lot you know yourself, Jack, when you know everyone else the chat does investigations, you don't always catch stuff in camera and all that. You know, it's happened to us quite a few times. Things have happened and it's not been on camera or whatever. You know,
I'm just too busy doing it. Like if I'm at a location I've booked myself, then we allow spirit to get quite close to us, and usually it's people who are either empaths or mediums, so the energy is quite strong, and anything can happen. Like I went to Paranormal Research Centre. One woman was walking along, she fell to her knees, and she nearly got pushed downstairs. Well, you know, like if you're watching that on the camera, then it's like, oh, she fell, you know, but you know how you're impacted. Or if you go like not into a trance, but if you get overshadowed, they go, oh, she's acting. But you know the experience. What I do, I write up my experiences. And if I get a name, a date, and whatever, I'll write it down. And if someone else goes to that location and go, oh, I got that there. Oh, wow, she got that as well. And it's just a validation of that, isn't it?
it's you know, I always say when people are faking it, you can tell because you know, this is just my opinion again. When you if you watch somebody on camera, you know, they're doing an investigation and something happens, you know, that's faked, you can tell because their reaction sometimes there's a slight delay. Their face doesn't change.
Yeah.
And the words that they use are sort of maybe common words that are used in, you know, you know. Whereas you can tell when somebody is, you know, something happens to somebody that they don't understand because their face changes.
And they usually swear.
And they usually swear or they'll do a wee, you know, you can tell by just looking at their face, you know, and some of them don't react. Some of them will just kind of look about, but you can tell that something's happened to them because their whole persona's changed. You know, they don't start as, oh my God, I've just been scratched or something.
Yeah. I've had it where people are scratched and they'll like show the shirt, you know, push the shirt up and you actually see it forming with your eyes. And I've seen that. And that is great. But just to say, these people, oh, I went to bed last night and I woke up with a scratch. Yeah, okay then.
I mean,
you know, oh, I've got fingernails. Well, yeah, I'm sure you've managed it somehow. You know?
A lot of people think it has to be major, you know, it has to be major something, but it can be the slightest lot of thing. Last Halloween, Laura and I went up, we did 2 Kirk walks. I'd done Loudon Kirk, and then we went to another place and she done it herself, you know, night time. I was up at the back of the Dempster plot, just myself, and I felt my, that's a big word, I don't know what she's meaning.
I don't. And
I was standing, and I'd done it as a live, and I had my hoodie on, and I felt two tugs on my left sleeve, my hoodie. Now I know there was nobody else there. I know I felt it, but I didn't make a big thing of it, you know. And it can be something so simple, you know. Did you ever do a welt came up around the guy's neck like a rope burn as he watched?
Wow, that's awesome.
Persona. She's talking about the word persona. The whole kind of expression changes.
Yeah.
And they don't make a big deal of it, but if you're watching them, you can tell. But then you get the teams out there that are just, you know, it's just ludicrous what they do. You know, we watched one a few weeks ago, and They were in this building, and they says they caught an apparition behind. It was swing doors, and there was two square bits of glass, one in each door. It says they caught this apparition looking through the door, and they played a wee bit of video footage. This apparition turned a torch on. I've never known a spirit to need a torch. You know, granted it was dark, but this apparition had it was a lady with a ponytail, and she put a torch on, and then she turned it off. But they were saying, we cannot explain this. So, probably a cleaner or something, getting home or whatever,
Yeah, that's what gets me about photos, because people will submit photos to pages. Oh, I took this in 2020, and look, there's a figure in the background. Well, it might have been the gardener, might have been someone walking by.
Aye.
You can't years later go, oh, there's this.
It's annoying, it really is, and that's how we try and debunk everything we can. You need to, because a lot of those, you hear that's paranormal. No, it wasn't. That was John there farting. Well, I heard that was paranormal. And it can be. I mean, I'll give you an example. I did an investigation a couple of years ago at an abandoned power station down here, and it was me and another guy, and we were on a live, and we could hear this thudding sound, the best metallic kind of thudding sound. Now, there was nobody else in the power station. It was 3 stories. So he stayed on the live, and I went to find out where it was. And it turned out it was a bit of corrugated iron, cladding, whatever you call it, and it was drops of water hitting this. They were all hitting it at the same time, and this is what was causing the noise. Yeah. So I went back, I says, it's drops of water on a bit of metal down the back.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. But you get some folks, can you hear that? That's paranormal.
Oh, God, we had the sofa. Admittedly, the last investigation I did, it was a private last Friday night. There was a sulphur around, but we certainly didn't, you know what I mean? It's a couple of times it showed, but we don't know what it was. Spirit was around us, but it's never a grout. It's never a demonic.
It wasn't a demon, was it?
Oh, God, no. Oh,
that's the other thing when people say it's demonic. This is a demonic spirit. We watched a video one time. It was a woman and a guy, and they were in somebody's house, and they says there was 6 demons in this house, and they'd managed to get rid of 4. They actually believed what they were talking. They'd managed to get rid of 4, and there was 2 up in the loft that they had to go up and sort out. But then 2 became 1. It changed through the video. It was just 1, and they were going to go up and sort this demon out. Now, long story short, the girl was going to go up in the loft, and so she went up, and the guy, he was downstairs, and sounds bad, but he was not shy around a steak pie, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
He was no stranger to a fish supper.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I get you.
And he shouted out, they'd done this pentagram on the ground with sacks of breadcrumbs or whatever, I don't know what it was. And their plan was she was going to go up in the loft, chase this demon down into the circle. And he says, if you get a demon down here, I'll belly flop him and keep him here. I was lost for words. Yeah. He was going to belly flop a demon. And they were actually built, and then they were saying, we're ordained exorcists, we are licensed to clean houses. I thought, I have a vacuum cleaner and a duster. That's the only cleaning you be doing,
That's a pet hate of mine, when ghost hunters go out and they go out to help somebody out in a house, but they're just using it as a freebie. And that really winds me up.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going in to say, oh, has anyone got a haunted house? We'll come and help you. No, they're just going in to investigate, and that's it. Especially if you try and do a live in it as well. Rather than actually find out who it is and solve the problem and show them to a light if I
can. I heard a story a long time ago. It was about a team. This couple were hearing noises in the house, and they got this team in, and this team charged something like £300-400.
Oh God, it's even worse.
And they were saying, there's definitely something here. We're going to have to come back and get rid of it. The couple decided to get somebody else in, and the guy says to them, "Look, when does this noise occur? Is it a regular?" And he says, "I should say, say 10 o'clock. It happens at 10 o'clock every night."
Yeah.
And you say, "Well, how does your heating work?"
Yeah.
The timer. And so they put the heating on, and they heard the noise, and the guys were that, "It's your pipes." Now, the guy, he was an investigator, but he didn't charge him anything. He says, "It's your central heating pipes. Your heating's time to go on the same time every night, and your pipes are heating up, and they're making a noise." But these other clouds had charged them like £300-400.
That's absolutely shocking.
To go in, and they paid it, or something.
Well, yeah, if people are that scared, and they've got such a problem, then yeah. And oh God, no, it's just so wrong, isn't it?
The thing that gets me is, that was a couple who owned the house, but what if you get somebody like an elderly lady or something?
Exactly.
Or somebody who, I hate using the word, but maybe has, mental health problems, whatever,
Yeah.
And you tell them you've got a demon in your house.
That's it. It's a cash point for them, isn't it?
Aye.
It's absolutely shocking. It is scary because people don't know where to go for help, do they?
So you can believe in this poor defenceless elderly woman in the house thinking she's got Satan running about her house,
Yeah, it's shocking.
Old houses in terms of shifts can be responsible for it. They can be responsible for a lot.
Yeah.
I had to leave one once as a person I was with. That's to sound even. I've not been with them before. You can hold in the laugh.
Oh no.
And of course, somebody blows off, and then you get the.
Jesus, yeah.
That's demonic. There's a demon in here.
That's what Eileen said here, but we did get a sulphur smell, but none of us actually let rip. So yeah, it was but you do get these smells, and like not from us, you know what I mean? And yeah, you just try and work out who's around, don't you? It's not the current.
It's old houses, you're going to get, if you get a house that's 300-400 years old, take Caldwell for instance, Darkwaharn, Caldwell's 250 years, 1723 it was built, so my maths is crap. 1723 Caldwell was built, so that's 300, 400 years or something like that,
Yeah.
If you get a 300-year-old house, you're going to get different kind of smells. You're going to get wildlife in it and all this kind of thing. So but
if it comes in and then goes and it's strong, if it is a smell which doesn't belong around the location, if it isn't a floral smell out of the garden or the weeds or the nature around, then yeah. But you just got to question what is the smell and why. Does it belong here or not? And that's the question, isn't it?
I mean, I've never encountered. I do believe demons do exist somewhere, some kind of realm, whatever. But I would imagine if you encounter a demon, and smell-wise, you're going to know about it. This is why you should sit and listen for a while.
Now, this is what I love to do, and this is what it's difficult to do because around here, I'm kind of on my own, so it's a bit awkward to go to places on my own with it being dark and. I'm right near a city as well. So, between Nottingham and Derby, so between two cities. So it's more weary about the people hanging around, isn't it, rather than the spirit, to be fair. So I go on a lot of public events, and I'll sit, but when they do the table tipping and everything, I just sit back on the board because, where strangers are on something, then they may push it, so I'm not even going to waste my time. Mm-hmm. But I just try and sit in a corner and just see what I can pick up, and then sometimes I do actually make contact. And even if I get something mediumistically, I'll keep it quiet because you don't want to sort of where there's a group and go, oh, I've got this, and this. But then if it is really quiet and I have got that information and they're doing table tipping or the pendulum or dowsing rods, I'll say the information. And then you'll find, you're linking and you're getting yeah on the answers. And then I'll deliberately say something which is wrong just to check the person who's dowsing. So I'll know what the answer is because I've already linked into this person. So I'll say something wrong. And if they go, yeah, then it just blows it all out. It's all rubbish. But if it goes no, it's like, wow, I have really got, I'm really interacting and they're getting the answers as well. And it's brilliant when you get that, isn't it?
It is. It's when you get something that, as you say, it's spot on. You get a wee kind of buzz,
Yeah.
As I said earlier on about the Loudon with the toy, angel, and doll. When you get that,
fantastic, isn't it?
You get that kind of buzz, and that kind of validated to me. I sent it to other people, and so and they came back with the same answers, and it kind of validates for us that spirit is there, that they are watching, and that they remember.
Yeah.
And they do, and a lot of people might say, "Oh, you can explain that away." Well, I'd like them to explain it to me. If somebody can give me a valid explanation, then I'll sit and listen to them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying if you're talking crap away you go. I know we know what we heard, we know what we picked up, but if somebody can explain it away, then fine. It's the same as we did in another investigation there, and one of the guys says he saw a black shadow going across. And so I asked James Dempster, he likes to be called, I found that he likes his full name. He likes to be called Mr. James Dempster. Right. So with the necrophonic running, and I said, was that Mr. James Dempster that walked across it? And it came back straight away, a strong male Scottish accent, yes.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah.
We've got it on camera, it's on the page, and it's on Spig's page as well, because it was drinking for Spig of his way. It's when you get stuff like that, explain that to me. How's that possible?
Yeah, that's it. You do need to be in the moment to appreciate what you're seeing here. And that's why a lot of the time I don't... You're kind of doing something, you're in an energy circle, which I absolutely love, because anything can happen. I do. Do like the unpredictable about that. But as soon as you get the camera out, it just kills it sometimes, doesn't it? But it also takes your focus away from the investigation, unless you've just got it standing there in a corner. So if you're doing a live, you're focusing more on who's watching the live than actually what's in the room. So you're kind of missing stuff, aren't you?
You are in a way. When we do we like to do investigations live because we like people to see what's happening as it happens. Rather, because sometimes we record it and it doesn't work out, and so people need to take our word for it. We take a bit, say, we went to Loudon and we get loads of activity, but we never caught it on camera. Anybody can say that.
I think with me it's because I'm on my own, so I can't really investigate on my own and do a live, because really you need somebody holding the camera and speaking to people coming through the live, because you've got people watching who can actually see the figures in the room. Mm-hmm. They actually pick up the information as well, so it's useful to sort of use their tips as well on the investigation, isn't it? But
I totally get where you're coming
from. But I can't think, because it is just me. Well, I've kind of teamed up with somebody. We've met once. It worked well, so this is an archaeology project. I need to sort of get onto, which is interesting, and I'm going to document that with this lady as well. So
you're in Nottinghamshire. You're in Nottingham. Yes. That's what you're from. We did Sherwood Forest with them. No Halloween there. The Halloween before it for.
Yeah. I've never been to Sherwood Forest investigating.
Oh, it's someplace. And the thing, Sarah and I went down, and we met them, you know, and he says, right, it's about a 10-minute walk to where we're going, you know, and 10 minutes my, you know,
Yeah.
maybe like 10 mile. You know,
Yeah.
people always say that. It's always a 10-minute walk, and it doesn't matter where you're going. It's 10 it's just along the road. And we walked and walked and walked, you know. But it was a fantastic night, a brilliant night.
Yeah.
I like learning about the genuine history. Well, that's part of what we do as well.
Yeah, you're certainly the history side of things, aren't you?
Because we put history, paranormal and history. I'm not plugging this. Paranormal and history, to me, you can't have one without the other.
No, that's it. Like, maybe I was, like, I can't remember names, dates very well. So if I do pick something up, then I like to check it.
Mhm.
And, you know, that way what I pick up, I didn't pre-know. Well, I might have known subconsciously, but it's not something I obviously know.
It's
Yeah.
far from
Oh,
sure.
you're near me then, are you? Oh, okay. You're quite near me, Mandy. I'm in Nottingham. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm between Nottingham and Derby. Like Sheffield Forest and Rufford's quite away. I guess it's like 20 miles away from me. So
That's when I get done for speeding. I was 1 mile over the speed limit.
the speed cameras oh right, yeah. Gosh. I didn't realise you were there. That's cool. We'll have to meet up sometime if you want. Yeah, because I do want to go up to Sheffield Forest sometime, and I like New Stabby as well.
It's what Sheffield Forest is massive. We've done Sheffield South, and we've done the Ivy House as well. That's the only two places we've done down south.
Down south, my gosh. We're not down south, are we, Mandy?
We're up north, and you're down south. You get Charlie says it a lot. He says we're going to come down to you. They were up last year, I think. We're going to come down to you. And I said, Charlie, you're not coming down to us, you're coming up. You're coming up the way. Scotland's north. You're going up, you know. So I say down south, you know.
Yeah.
But we did the Ivy House as well last year.
I'm walking around in shorts. So no, I'm not.
You're a suit.
I drink real ale. I don't have lager top.
Do you still sell that? See, I'm teetotal.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
But no, you're doing south. I've always said that. I take it you think we're down the way.
Where?
Do you think that Scotland's down the way?
You're South Scotland, aren't you?
No, we're north.
No, you're south of Scotland, though. You're South Scotland.
Well, we're in the west of Scotland, but Scotland's is when you get, let's see, as I say, Charlie, he says we're coming down to you. Charlie's from near Wales area, he's from. I said, Charlie, you're not coming down to us, you're coming up to us.
Oh, yeah.
He couldn't grasp the concept that he was going up to Scotland and not down to Scotland. You know.
Okay.
We're in the middle.
So where are you then? Are you Nottingham as well? Or Midlands? Hey, you might have a few Midlanders here. Have to do a meet up. Unless you're in Midland of Scotland.
You've more neighbours than you thought.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, I like Annesley Hall as well. Obviously, you can't get into it, but it's just a fantastic place. I've sort of been there twice when you could get into it, but then you get people, they burn it down, and then they're finally rebuilding it after leaving it for years. So, you're joking, Caroline. You know I'm always in Hinckley. Oh, gosh. We need to do some meeting up. Yeah, we're East Midlands. Yeah, I didn't realise both of you were so close. That's unreal. Yeah.
There you go, Jackie. You've Caroline and you've got Mandy.
Yeah, it's 35 miles to Hinckley from where I am. It takes 45 minutes. I know, because I nearly do the journey every week. Yeah. God knows where it is.
That's you get two people to investigate with them. That's you're sorted.
Yeah, Mandy's like an hour up north. up north, north of me, and Caroline's 40 minutes down. So yeah, that's cool, isn't it?
Then you've got Eileen over in the east.
Yeah, that's well. I'm going to come and see. Oh, Caroline likes Rolos, does she? Wow. Yeah, I have to remember that then. Are you coming to the para meet then, Caroline? Might meet you there. That's the beginning of September in Rugby, so that's near you, I think. But yeah, so I'm going there for 2 nights. That's going to be good. Yeah, I'm certainly East Midlands.
East Midlands division.
Yeah.
That's what you should call it. Rename yourself East Midlands division.
Nottingham. Don't want to be confused with Derby, do we? No, I do spend a lot of time at Derby as well. It's a bit hard getting over the border. But my house is between the two.
Where do you find the time? Because you're quite a busy lady.
Oh, I had to give up on a party in the park on Sunday. I was too tired. I just keep busy because you have to.
I know you do. That's why. I mean, get these teams or whatever, and they appear on their Facebook, once a month, twice a month or something. But I think a busy team's a happy team.
Yeah.
And if people are taking the time to follow you or whatever, then give them something to follow.
Yeah, I do go out. I don't. It's like, obviously, I did help out at Derby Jail. I help out at the Paranormal Research Centre. So you're hosting, so you don't get footage.
Mm-hmm.
You can. Well, you're working, aren't you? But I'm going out to Grassy Hall at the weekend. Oh God. Yeah, well, Charlene lives near where my dad used to live, in the same area. Well, same town, is it? It's more like a village, isn't it? But yeah, I know exactly where Charlene lives. Well, not exactly, but yeah, the area.
Roundabout.
Yeah, my dad used to live there, so yeah. Ah, cool. Yeah, Charlene's cool. I've met her. First time I went to Paranormal Research Centre, I met Charlene and Dave from Scotland. Dave Barrett. He was. So I met them. Paranormal Hauntings. I was there. So that was about 4 years ago when I first met Charlene. I actually met her in the crystal shop locally when I went. So I went to a crystal shop about 2 months ago. Oh, okay, you're in Nuneaton then. Yeah. Oh, the other Amy. Yeah. Charlene's Amy. I was getting mixed up with Amy Slaney. But yeah. Oh, that's cool. So there are a few of us all local. We just have to do a meet-up, won't we?
You just need to get the diary out and get people wrote in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I do meet people, but I went to also like the weekend. That was good, but that was just a social night out. So when should we put it up that they're still going to have a night out? Who wants to join them? And yeah, I met some lovely people up there, down there, Birmingham. So yeah.
Birmingham, we've been in Birmingham in years.
Yeah.
In Birmingham.
It's Walsall, so it's just kind of this side. It's this side of Birmingham, which is handy. Because I can't go in Birmingham because my car's diesel. So they've got this congestion charge thing going on.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. London's
so you have to pay a stupid price. So, yeah.
London, I used to deliver in London all the time when I drove the trucks, and there was none of this congestion charge and
oh god,
no, it's just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, because I went to Sheffield to meet Leslie Hudson sometime earlier this year, and I just was driving along and it says there's congestion charge that whatever clean air zone. I slung my car into an industrial estate because I didn't know if I could carry on down the road or not. And then we found out it wasn't for my car, it was for vans more than anything.
I've done the same in Glasgow. It's something to do with, I've not drove in the city centre for, but I used to deliver in the city centre all the time. But they changed it all to one-way systems, and now they've introduced an emissions charge or something.
Have they? Oh, I need to watch that then.
In Glasgow. And no, I don't stay away from the city centre, because I used to love driving in Glasgow from, Sucky Hall Street, Hope Street, but now it's changed that much. One-way systems, bus lanes, everything.
Oh, Nottingham's like that.
Now there's an emissions charge, but you only need to just you stay in the motorway.
I always go through the motorway, which goes through the centre anyway, doesn't it?
Aye, it's through Charing Cross and what have you.
You don't see any of it because you just go down through it, cut through it, don't you?
Mind you've got the M74. You don't need to go there, mate. You get the M74 that cuts all that out as well.
Yeah, that. Oh wow, gosh, that's bad then, isn't it?
No,
there's no chance for me and Rocky getting in Edinburgh City. I thought not, but no. Yeah.
We were quite lucky with Edinburgh because we were quite friendly with Jamie Christoffin, who runs City of the Dead tours, and we used to park inside.
Jesus, no.
I took my.
I got really mardy. I went to an investigation in Leicester one night, and it was like the investigation was about 25-30 quid. The parking was 25. At night time it's cheaper as well, isn't it? Well, it used to be 25 quid, 4 hours.
Well, we done the vaults in Edinburgh. One set was at night time, so we didn't bother paying for parking. But we're quite friendly with Jamie Christoffin, who runs City of the Dead tours, and he looks after the Street South vaults. So we done an investigation there during the day.
Awesome.
And we had to pay for parking, and we parked in the multi-story, and I think it was something like a tenner or something, which wasn't too bad, because out in the street it's a lot dearer, but whenever we were going to Greyfriars, we were quite lucky because Jamie would just open the gate and would let us park inside the actual car, because parking charges are they're a joke.
Well, I know where I can park in Nottingham for free after 8 o'clock, but if you're there 1 minute to 8, the traffic warden will get you. I also know where it can be more reasonable to park on the road, the parking meters. Oh, multi-story's gone.
Well, that's oh well.
Sure, parking stuff then, isn't it?
The bus. I think next time we'll be taking the bus then, if the multi-story's gone, but it's parking is a joke anyway. As you say, traffic wardens. When I done the trucks, I had many I run in with traffic wardens.
Yeah.
And the way they just slow down like that, as you say, you see you're parked at 10 o'clock, 10:01, that, right?
Yeah.
And you said, seriously, mate, you gave me a ticket, I'm just going to start the engine. It's 10:01. You should be away by me.
Yeah, I went to, I stayed at the Fleece, Golden Fleece in York. That cost me 72 quid for the weekend parking. And it's mad, isn't it? I'm going back to York in April. So I'm investigating the Castle Museum in York, which is like, I guess Mackenzie's going to be there because she works there. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, that will cost me to park.
You're cheaper off taking the bus. Take the bus.
God no.
That's why I used to do it.
Because I'd have to get to Nottingham to get a bus. And then you've got, whether you rely on no. You'd have to get a bus into the centre of Nottingham to then get a bus out. It's too much.
That's where London's bad. I've got a mate who stays in Putney, which is in the west side of London, and asked Mackenzie to park on her street. There you go.
Claire Bryant offered me to park on a drive when I went up to York, which is really nice because I actually I went to a public event with PRY, and it was in a village outside York, so that was good. So yeah, because I was going to York anyway, I managed to get in an investigation. But this time I'm going to go with them investigating again on one of their public events. Really can't wait for that because it's just such an iconic building in York, the Castle Museum.
See, we've got very few buildings like that up here. You're quite lucky. We've got very few buildings, and buildings like that you can't get into.
Oh wow, yeah. I went to York to stay at the race course as well. And I did the hot air balloon festival for 2 years. But then last year they screwed it up because the first year we were staying at the stables, and we managed to drive around the track side where the emergency services go around the race course. But because last year that's the first time, but because last year they got these big names on, we had to go in the other entrance. So it's just a pain just to drive around with like all the public queuing to get in. And we were in the hot air balloons and we had to queue as well. And just to get back to Stableside, you get stuck in all the traffic all the time, rather than the quick way across the racecourse, which was better. But yeah. Oh, that's sad. That's awful. The trains now, it's mad, isn't it? Anything to try and do. But yeah. But yeah, it's been an interesting chat, and we've covered a few topics.
I've enjoyed myself. It's very different, being a guest to being a host.
Yeah, it is. I've been a guest for ages now, so yeah.
I like what you say. It's surprising how time flies. We Nick Newley on a couple of weeks ago, and I said, when was the last time you were on? Is that 2 years ago? So I thought it was last year.
I know. It's like you just don't realise, do you?
I thought it's not too. So I had to check back, and I thought he's right enough. It's 2 years ago since we'd Nick on. The time just,
Oh god, it is crazy, isn't it? Well, you think about COVID, and you can't believe now it's so long ago. Because that was when I booked a flight. No train. I booked a train to go to Edinburgh, and I got it all sorted. I got 2 hotels in Edinburgh as well. One looked more creepy than the other one. So I booked a hotel. I thought, oh, actually, there's one on the Mile, which looked really creepy. So I thought I'd stay there as well. One was near the train station, and one was on the Mile. So I booked 2 different hotels, and was meeting Wes up there, and Colin Connor, and the guy from Scottish Paranormal, I think, at the time. Ali. So I was going to meet all them up there, but that was Easter, and COVID hit just about the March time, just before it. So
that's what I say. We Tim Johnson for Ghosted UK on last week.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Ages.
Oh, Tim's nuts. I love Tim.
Oh, he's cool. Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he's nuts in that. If you watch this Tim, I mean, he's nuts in a good way.
I think he's cool. Yeah, he's brilliant.
And that's what we were saying. It's because we started off just before COVID hit. And so
I started my podcast just before COVID. Well, it was just starting then. I first started doing them for Paranormal Research Centre, and then just went onto my own page after that.
Well, when we started, we hadn't planned on doing podcasts because we'd never done it. Podcasts.
No, I hadn't. It was just because it was COVID. I thought, oh, let's have a go. And I tell you what, that first one you start, and like you're 5 minutes into it, and you think, how the hell are you going to chat for an hour? And I've got a list of all these questions, and then you can't even see them because it gets too dark.
Oh,
it's just a nightmare. And then you've got people talking, and oh my gosh, the first time was horrible.
The first one, we did it ourselves. We didn't have a guest in it because we didn't know anybody. And so we've done it on Mediums. We're doing a wee chat on Mediums, and we're still going, still on YouTube, and I look at our first 2 or 3 lives. And the first one that we did, we started off with an old laptop and a mobile phone, and I was in the room with my phone on this live, and it wasn't till after I'd watched it that I realised that for most of their life, people would be looking up my nose because I
Yeah.
was sitting, I was sitting with the phone, I was sitting like that, talking, and you don't think, And I watched the first 2 or 3 shows we've done, and you think, how did we survive?
Wow.
But as time, I mean, we're no experts in it now or anything, but as time goes on, you get better and you learn wee tricks and bits and pieces and that. But our first handful of lives were a total disaster, train wreck. And I thought,
Looking back.
how the hell are we still here 3 years down the line?
Well, yeah, I started in 2020, March 2020. So yeah, I don't know why I'm still, but yeah, it's cool, and it's the people you meet, isn't it?
Uh,
It's some amazing people.
and
US and UK. It's just and Japan and Canada. Because I've spoken to Wes, Australia. Well, I've interviewed someone who's living in Australia. So what I'm going to do is put the interviews on the Ghost Planet Network. It's absolutely awesome. So I spoke to him the other day, and it's like 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning because of their time. So that's nicely recorded. So I'm going to put that on the Ghost Planet Network. And he's so knowledgeable about loads of subjects. So I might actually sort of maybe get 6 episodes.
Australia's are not. We're quite friendly with Kate and Jem, who they're hectic paranormal, and we'll be them on Sunday. But we're doing a live at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, which will be 7 o'clock Sunday night to them or something. I was looking at interesting commitment, Scott. If you've enough people interested, the rest come. That's very, very true, Andy. But I've said this on a few shows. I mean, we're for Kilmarnock. We're nothing special. But some of the people we've spoke to, people you would never ever have spoke. We've had Patty Negri on quite a few times. In fact, she was on last Monday.
Yeah.
I done a video call with her, and it's people like this. You would never ever have met them if we had.
That's right.
Yourself including, and Richard Felix and all, and just is like that. All these people you meet, and it was good during the pandemic because Tim and I were talking about this. That you obviously during the pandemic you were locked in. You weren't allowed to go out apart for your 20 minutes. I think 20 minutes a day, whatever it was, you were allowed to do.
We're going to have to finish now because we actually go out on the Things Network. So my slot's about to finish.
Oh, is your slot about it done?
Thanks anyway, but yeah, I do have to go. But thanks so much, Scott, for being a guest. If you can follow Paranormal in History. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Look after yourselves and see you soon. And I'm doing a special show tomorrow with Barry Frankish, talking about the 29th of July, which is Wear Your T-shirt Day. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye. Thank you.